Hello seniors, and welcome to the next video in your Senior Project Advisory video series. Today's goal is to understand the components of the online portfolio, which is where you will put all of your evidence and documentation, and to link that to one of our school-wide learner outcomes of becoming a functional producer. In our last few episodes, we talked about becoming an informed decision maker through the selection of your project and completing your proposal. And we also talked about becoming a self-directed learner. When things come up, trying to figure them out and problem solve, and becoming that independent, lifelong learner. So today's focus is becoming a functional producer through the evidence that you gather and collect and keep throughout the course, beginning, middle, and end of your project. So here we go. So when we talk about becoming a functional producer, to get a little more detail, what we mean by that is becoming a person who can effectively use appropriate technology and create appropriate products for specific audiences or markets. So in the context of your senior project, we're looking for you to produce that evidence that you listed in the proposal, along with some other items that all seniors will complete. Throughout the past several years, we've had the same portfolio components, but we've made some changes this year because we really want to focus on your powerful learning. We've actually streamlined this process and eliminated some of the portfolio elements because we want you to focus on producing a higher quality product in terms of your writing and the completeness of the portfolio elements. So let's go over some of the changes that are going to be different than if you had a friend who graduated last year or a family member a few years ago. So because we want to focus on your learning, we realized that the 3 progress reports were often not done during the project and were done in retrospect. So they didn't support your learning and reflection along the way. So we're going to be really looking to your video evidence that you're taking, beginning, middle, and end, where you're either narrating or explaining or showing us what you're learning, working on, and producing. So we have eliminated the 3 progress reports from the portfolio. We've also eliminated the project overview, which was just an additional document that was giving judges a quick picture of the project. So we've incorporated that into your self-evaluation, and we're going to get to that in a moment. So because we have tried to streamline this process for you, our hope for you is that you will really take it upon yourself to do a good job. And what we mean by that is to reflect honestly, particularly in your self-evaluation, to edit your documents carefully. You know, when there were 9 documents to complete for the portfolio, of course, we would assume there would be more spelling mistakes or perhaps a lowercase I that snuck in there. Now that we've really cut quite a few of the written documents out, we want to make sure those that you do submit are carefully edited. Have a friend read it, have a parent or guardian read it, or even your consultant. Have someone help you look through and make sure you don't have some of those kind of sloppy mistakes that really drag down the quality of your work, and it just makes that defense experience a little more stressful because it doesn't reflect all the hard work you've put in. We want you to communicate both orally and in writing how you have met your project outcomes, and really showing your stretch and challenge as well as the evidence of your learning. So that communication will come across in the portfolio pieces that you write, as well as when the defense judges are questioning you and when you're presenting your board speech. So let's look at what is required. So when it comes to becoming a functional producer, we are looking for you to produce the evidence listed in your proposal. So that's in the documentation section, and every senior has 15 photos and 5 video clips, as well as documentation of learning. This could be pages of notes, vocabulary and definitions, a formal scale drawing. Perhaps you have a chef's journal or athlete's journal, lesson plans, or a formal safety test if you're doing construction or landscaping. This could also be something like receipts or recipes. So check your proposal for what's required for your specific project. In addition to what's listed in section D of your proposal, all seniors will have to complete 3 pieces that you will write. So 3 Google Docs that you will create. The first one is the letter to the judges. So we want you to know how to do a formal business letter, again, becoming a functional producer in various settings. So a formal business letter that you will complete in English class, and there's also a sample on the website if you'd like to have a look now or get a jump start on that. The letter to the judges should explain clearly the challenge and stretch you've been through and what you've learned. And we're going to go over the letter in a future episode in more detail. Then each senior will complete the most important piece, which is the detailed self-evaluation. This is like a questionnaire that you will first complete an overview of the project, give us a quick snapshot, then a chart with the steps you've gone through. You know, this is what I completed at the beginning, this is what I've learned. Throughout the middle of the project, what have you been working on? And then at the end, your final stages of completing your final product or performance. So that you are completing on your own. That's the only piece that you are creating as a written document on your own. Then you will have the resume, which you will work on in econ class. Again, there is a resume sample on the Senior Project website. These are all found on the forms page that you can look at if you would like to start it now or see a sample. For the resume, remember, it's not just your coursework. We're interested in any extracurricular or co-curricular activities, including clubs, athletics, speech, debate, any community service that has been important or meaningful to you. So that's what the resume is there to show, what you've been working on and what you've been producing and involved in throughout high school. Remember that all seniors will have their 15 photos and 5 video clips stated in the proposal, and be sure that you are shown in each photo and video. You will also have a consultant evaluation. You simply print this and have your consultant fill it out. Don't lose it. And if you have a client, which most projects do, you will also print your client evaluation and have your client fill that out. Then you will have audience evaluation. So check your proposal for the number. And this is just a 5-question survey that you will provide people. So you will pass around your final product, for example, your final blanket that you've crocheted, and you'll have 10 people answer questions that you've created related to the quality of that final product. We will go over these elements in greater detail in a future episode. This is just an overview. So along with becoming a functional producer, we want you to be organized along the way with the items that you're producing. Please create a folder in your Google Drive, and this can house several items, not just the 3 pieces that all seniors must complete, the letter to the judges, the self-evaluation, and the resume. But if you have any online notes that are Google Docs, you could put them right there in that folder. We're going to be talking about this folder in the future when we go to make the actual online portfolio. So if you could start that now, you'll be a step ahead. So what should you be working on now? Start that project. It's not going to get any easier to wait. If you get the ball rolling now, it's going to make your life much easier. Come and see us if you're having any concerns or you think you might need to switch some things about your project or even change your project. Start those notes and vocab terms. If you meet with your consultant or client, take some notes and date them. Again, this can be written notes in like a journal notebook, or they could be a Google Doc. And of course, as we've been trying to say over and over, your photo and video evidence, as you're taking it, put it into your Google Drive or on YouTube unlisted immediately. If something happens to your phone and you do not have that documentation, it'll be very difficult to go back and try to redo some of the steps. And it'll be giving you a lot of extra work. And of course, if you have any practice pieces that you're working on, for example, an art project, if you're practicing painting, be sure to keep those and of course start them right away. Do not start the actual online portfolio site yet. We'll be providing a detailed video for you on how to make that later this term. So now is the time to just gather the evidence, and later this term we will teach you how to put that evidence onto the online portfolio site. So that's why the folder is so important. So in next week's episode, we are going to talk in more detail about the pieces of documentation. We're going to go over what audience evaluations actually look like, and you will see where to find the consultant and client evaluations to print out. We're also going to talk about how some pieces will be perhaps handwritten and some pieces will be online, and how that's all going to fit together into your online portfolio. And remember, the 3 portfolio items that are required for all seniors, letter to the judges, self-evaluation, and resume, are online on the forms page of the Senior Project website, so you can check them out anytime. So we hope this overview of the portfolio items has been very helpful, and now it's time to go to the Senior Advisory Videos webpage to take your online quiz and see if you can be a winner this week. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.